Hello, and thank you for joining me tonight. I go by Lune and I'm here in my office. I just got done with a session with a client. Took a little time to myself to regroup and record this video for you. The intention in this video, or what I'm aiming to do here, is to provide some conversation, relaxation. You can look at it that way. That's kind of where this channel is like the foundation of this channel. But specifically, I'd like to pull some cards for you to choose from with the intention of looking into a few ways to, for example, work with or guide or gain some clarity on what's going to come up from us, specifically relating to the full moon in July, which is, I believe, on the 27th, which also has an eclipse tied in. So there's a lot of energy going on, you can say. We've been, in and out of retrogrades very frequently at this point. So I thought it would be a good idea to take the time that I have to provide a reading for the collective, you could say. Now, I read cards and stuff, but it's not like my primary thing that I offer, so I very much work off of the pictures on the cards, although and the symbolism that I find in the pictures. And just to give you that information, I don't call myself like a professional tarot reader in the regard of like I know what every card means right off the top of my head. I need to look at them and see how they make me feel. So just a little insight on how I work with that. I'm going to be doing just some casual little tapping, and so if you don't like that, I'm sorry. I will make a video that does not have tapping at some point. I feel like there has been a theme that I've witnessed recently where I guess I should call it's like an anti-theme or a backwards theme. Some people I'm talking to, specifically the air signs, it seems to be, are those with a lot of air signs in their chart, I should say, where you guys seem like you're getting a lot of ideas and inspiration, putting yourself out there a little more or thinking of how you can do that. While on the other hand, I've seen a lot of water signs be a bit more, and earth and water actually both have been a bit more withdrawn, I could say. I guess that's a way to put it. Introspective, processing. I feel like there's a lot of processing going on. And the fire signs as well seem to be, I don't know, I'm being so general here, but doing their own thing too. So I thought it'd be the best to do a card reading that you guys get to pick which group you resonate with, and we'll, chat about it from that perspective. I feel like that's pretty good. I'm just going to cut the deck. And then I'm going to pull 4 cards, one for each of the groups. So this is the Cosmic Tarot. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's put that there. And we have this Earth Magic Oracle card deck. Sorry about the lighting in this video. It's not super up to par with how I'd like to do it, but what are you gonna do, right? do a little casual chat while I'm shuffling. Yes, I had a beautiful birthday, so thank you guys so much for all the well wishes and messages and cards and everything. I really appreciate the love. I don't usually make a big deal out of my birthday, so I feel like even just how much I talked about it was a bit out of character for me, but I just turned 36, and I feel like that's a special year. It's a 9 year, 3 plus 6, so it's for me a year of completion, you could say. And additionally, it's a funny age as a woman, or a human, I guess, but in this lifetime, my perspective is from a woman's perspective, and aging, I don't mind it at all, although I certainly had to get over it, and I feel like there'll be many times in my life as I continue to age that I have to keep adjusting myself or reinventing myself or just being more comfortable in my skin, The reason I say that is because 36 stands out in my mind as the year my mother stopped aging, as in she was definitely in her late 40s, and I would ask her how old she was, and she'd be like, I'm 36. So it stands out as like something for me to overcome or to transmute, if you could imagine that. The fear that may have been in my mother from, I don't know if fear is the right word, but the discomfort from being beyond 36. So I'll just kind of put it that way. It's all interesting and all good. Alright, so we're going to cut the deck here. And 1, 2, 3, 4. This isn't going to be past, present, future. I'm going to look at specifically how the cards are talking to one another. The next I will use, actually got this as a gift from a viewer named Katie, and it's really interesting that she wanted to send me this deck because it's the Mystical Shaman Oracle card deck. And when I realized that this was the deck that she wanted to send me, I was in shock because one of my shamanic tribe members has this deck, and she posts pictures of it very often. She'll do like a card of the day for us all, or share her card of the day sometimes. And I love this deck. I've been looking at it, messaging her, oh, what kind of deck is that? I really want to get it. So for someone to want to send me a deck that I legitimately had my eye on and was going to be my next deck is a testament to me about the power of manifesting and keeping things casual. To give you an idea of what I have to come in my channel, the next Reiki session is actually a bit tongue-in-cheek, and it is to change the world, and some thoughts on how we can make a difference, and the Buddha vibe and all of that kind of stuff, how we can change the world by, of course, through action, but first it must come from the vision and what we want the world to be like. I feel that there's a certain level of chaos here that comes from so many different opinions on what the world should be like. So if we can streamline it to be a bit more general so that it is more focused, we can have a greater impact. And I don't want anyone to think this is I'm just sending prayers. Yeah, it's like, no, there's always more we can do, but we have to look within ourselves first. I think that there's a big part is within us. So that's where that comes from. Okay, and just cut it. And again, 1, it's 2, 2, 3, and these ones stick together a lot. Oopsie. 4. I actually have the book here for this one because as much as I try not to use books, sometimes this one specifically has some very beautiful insights. So I thought I would bring it here just in case I'm tempted to use it. But we'll see. Right? I can put this book, all this space, and I don't have that much space, do I? Oh, and then I have the most sacred of sacred apricot LaCroix. I ran out of water, but I have my emergency LaCroix in the office. And then next, these are these goddesses knowledge cards. Cut it. And we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, great. I'm going to be planning another point of view Reiki as well, or I am planning it. I'm going to be recording it, and I'm going to try this time to see what I can do about the ceiling, because a lot of people complained about like a face being on the ceiling. It's like a vent and lights, and I thought that was kind of funny because I get it, but I also am like, it's hard not to sometimes first instinct be a little like, what do you mean? Like one of those. But I have to remember that we all have different things that, you know, we're sensitive to. I love faces on things like the back of cars or just different things that we see faces in. It never bothers me. So it was kind of funny. But I think I will get a small, like a light tapestry to hang over that anyway, you know, it'll look nice. But what I'm gonna do for the next video is just kind of move the position of the bed so it's not looking at a face, it's looking at a different portion of my office. Okay, so I'm gonna try to just unknowingly put ones down for them, because I know what they are and try to be just guided. Okay. Alright. Next I'm just going to burn a little sage just to clear the space again. I've cleared it already after cleaning up after my client was here and setting up and stuff. So I have cleansed the space with sound specifically. But it'd be nice to do a little smudging. Alright, so I'm just going to scoot these over here for me. Alright, the first group of cards is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. The first one has an iolite stone. Okay, and I'll tell you about the stones, as we go, but I just want you to kind of have a more neutral tie. The last time we did a video like this, I had my Kumbaba jasper, and some of you said that you were repelled by it, and I think that can be a sign as well. And I know that there was one of you that specifically said that they took that as a sign. So here's iolite. It's a polished kind of palm stony, like a small pocket stone. It's a beautiful, beautiful deep indigo color. Then we have some African turquoise, which is actually a jasper, but it's called African turquoise. Then we have some yellow fluorite. Right? They're all tumbled, kind of polished stones here. And then we have a snowflake obsidian. Okay, I know I'm not showing you them very good, but it's a black and gray stone which has these little snowflake looking markings on it. This one's just a translucent yellow stone. And this one has a look of turquoise, you could say, but it's definitely not. But for looks anyway. So we're going to go with the iolite first. Alright. So we have... So I just, in case you're wondering why I'm turning some around and not others, if a tarot card's upside down, I do read it in reverse. However, oracle cards I read just regular because I don't see a reverse in them, so that's why some of them I'm messing with and the other I'm leaving. So we have the Fool in reverse. We have Changing Woman as our goddess card. Water, it's like a bubble looking orby shape with water. And then DNA and Karma, which has this Kundalini kind of vibe going on. Alright, so if you selected this reading, I'll tell you first about the stone that you chose. This is a stone of direction, of insight, of knowing which way to go, because we are so tapped into our third eye senses that we can navigate. So it's a navigational stone. Right away, these cards kind of speak to me together. We have Changing Woman, which is a picture of a mature woman, you might call a crone in this picture. And then the DNA, so I'm sensing this obviously kind of ancestral vibe going on, karma, and things that perhaps were in your life, or specifically in your parents, your grandparents, your ancestors' DNA that you are working through and have the potential to transmute in this lifetime. The water card is this beautiful sphere. It's absolutely gorgeous. It looks like a bubble, but also like a crystal ball. So for me, this talks about insight in terms of tapping into our emotions to be guided and reflecting on our emotions as well. Is there something that, let's say, one of your parents had a short fuse, their parents kind of treated them the same way or had a short fuse too and would explode? Is there something in you that you're carrying forward that comes from your upbringing or anything that you saw playing out earlier in your life, and how that can be a tool for you to be like, wow, this is how I'm feeling, and this is how I react when I'm feeling this, and let me make a change here, let me navigate, let me direct this into a healthier place, or a place where I'm able to transmute those outbursts of anger, let's say, as for an example, or those negative associations with money, like thoughts of lack or something like that, and be allowed to tap into my feelings, to read them, to be very aware so that I can see what action is coming from my feelings. And then the Fool in reverse, for me, it's like I don't want to say a warning, that's a bit extreme sounding, but for me, this card paired with the others is like don't forget that you still can fall into that pattern. You still can fall into something. You might be walking the line here. You might be on the edge of, outbursts of anger or, bad, negative, uncomfortable, unsupportive associations with money or relationships, or how we treat men or women, or how we treat different cultures or biased or prejudiced or anything like that might have been instilled on us. I don't want to say it's our fault that these things become instilled on us. When we're kids, how could anything necessarily be our fault? But sometimes we're put in those places because we are the ones who can carry, I don't want to say carry the burden, but carry it and transmute it and go through the lines of history for our family. So for a lot of you who chose the group 1, I'm seeing that a nice intention it would be for you to set with this eclipse is to connect with your ancestors, connect with these patterns and honor them. Like, it's not to say that they did, if you saw something that you're trying to transmute, so how could it be something you can honor them for? But honor them for the life and path that they walked, because good or bad, that was their life. That was what they were meant to experience. They had a whole chain of reactions and events which got you to where you are now. But work with this energy as a reset, as an ability to gain clarity and be guided to choose what will carry on through your ancestors by your ability to transmute the negative, the lack, the anger, the bad relationships, or anything that might be specific to your family and your heritage, ancestry and stuff. So I hope that's clear. Rely on your feelings, tap into your feelings, and specifically look, what does feeling like this cause me to do? Because that's where a lot of your you can change your reaction. All right, so number 2, which is this African turquoise, and then we have the triple goddess card. We have the sacrifice, lightning and power, and then the tarot is the Prince of Wands reversed. All right, so first I'll speak about the stone you chose. This is one that I work with personally for transformation. When I want to it's funny, to transmute something, to evolve something, to break through something, to change how I do something or a client, I would put this on any of the chakra points, really, although it does work very good between the throat and the heart. I would put it on any area that needed to transform. So I'll just leave that there for now. Just kind of take a look at these together. These cards are gorgeous. All right, so we'll start with the triple goddess, I guess. The triple goddess is almost exactly like what I was talking about, turning 36 now, and I'm the mother. If you don't know what triple goddess is, it's like maiden, mother, crone. It is the circle of life. It is the trinity of sorts, and you can play this into whatever you're comfortable with. If you want to go with self, Father, Cosmos, Mother Earth, and myself, or however you kind of play in that trinity of sorts. But the triple goddesses really represent to me knowing your power in your state. What is the power of our maiden state or our mother state or our crone, and how we all are the same soul having these experiences, but there is a guidance here. It's funny that we were just talking about the 36 thing, to to reinvent yourself, to re-identify with yourself, to know that you are changing, that things are changing, that you should want to change. And it's up to you to re-identify yourself, to be like, okay, I am the mother. I am, I'm just, again, using this as the example. I am the mother. Like, that's my identity now. I'm not out here in my maiden time having a ball necessarily. I have a different perspective of what I might consider that to be, and that will evolve again as I move on to my crone years and just things like that. So transformation, identity, redefining yourself comes in. There will be something that we need to sacrifice through that, isn't there? There is an offering that we can make, and it can be a beautiful thing. And this isn't like, some spooky sacrifice, kind of thing going on. I'm sacrificing this so that I can have this. I'm sacrificing my time now. I'm sacrificing, not going out and having as many experiences right now because I'm investing that time into my personal growth, starting a business, school, education, my family, whatever the case may be for you. Of course, please take this into what's going on with your life, individually, but there is something that we sacrifice and let go of so that we can take on something bigger and better, or just step into the person we need to be to receive those goals, to reach those levels. The lightning card, power. This is very angelic for me. I really associate lightning and angelic energy very much so. And I look at angels not just as the depicted, wings and stuff, but as frequencies of shapes, of colors, of, rays of light, if you want to go there, and intentions and facets, I would say, of a God, which we are a part of. But here, this is power. There is something that you may need to do or break, just like when lightning strikes, because of the static energy, and it strikes to release the energy. It needs to come out in some way. You're gonna have, or maybe you already are having that. There is or living that rather, or experiencing it. There is a static energy, there is an abundance, there is an excess that needs to be cut and directed and not be fragmented and just hanging out in the atmosphere and not directed in any way. It needs to be grounded and provide not only insight through the flash of light that comes from that, but also be grounded into the earth, into the material, just like when the lightning strikes the water or the sand or the trees or whatever. It needs to come down and come forth. So if there's something you're working on in terms of personal growth or a project or anything like that, we would say here that it needs to be focused, and there should be a clarity that we're looking for. This might come with the energy of the full moon, or you can intend for the energy of the full moon to be sent to this, and that goes for all of you guys across the board here in terms of which one you chose. All right, and then the Prince of Wands in reverse. Alright, so this is just warning us not to get too attached to ourselves, not to get too attached to our ego, to constantly feeling supported and safe, I could say, to know that to change, we must rock the boat, we must try something new, we must do all of those things, which can be at times uncomfortable. But the encouragement here is to keep your eye on the prize, so to speak, to trust that innate ability to transform and become or step into the role that you wish to is definitely within you, but not to get too caught up in the comfort or boasting evil. Even, I want to say, there's a fine line, I think, between fake it till you make it. I believe in that. I believe in being able to say, oh, this is what I do. Oh, I'm a writer. I write books. I'm writing. While you're writing, okay. But if you're not actually doing that, then you're it's a facade, So that's kind of the thing that it's asking us to look at. Make sure that you're backing it up. On the other hand, I can say that sometimes it's not necessarily appropriate to share everything. Sometimes it is wiser to hold something and keep it a little, close to the chest before you share, because it's taking roots, it's taking shape, it's strengthening, it's getting more dense as you work through this manifestation of who you're becoming, or what you're stepping into, or what you're developing. So to know that there is a line there, and make sure you use discernment and balance, check in with yourself to make sure that you're not straying into only talking about things, or talking about things when it's not the time to do that. All right. Now we have the yellow fluorite. Oh wait, yeah, okay. I just confused myself. So the goddess card is Pele, a fiery Hawaiian volcano goddess. And then we have the drum as one of our cards. Okay. Clouds and shape-shifting. Okay. And then the Chariot. Wonderful. Okay, cool. So first I'll tell you about the stone that you chose. I keep wanting to call it a calcite. This is a fluorite. A yellow fluorite. I work very much with all fluorites, in my opinion, are good for logic, clarity, coming from just an understanding, like being able to take it all in and understand and act from that place of knowingness. But this one particularly is very good for working with other people or creative projects together. So just that might play in a little for you. All right, beautiful goddess card. For me, and I'm not going to read these. I think I'm going to pass on the book. We'll see how I do. But the volcano, look what's going on in Hawaii right now. This kind of plays in here. I'm not going to get into my thoughts on that specifically, because I see good and bad, obviously, in both areas of that, or how that is being expressed in Hawaii. But for me, volcanic, magma, primordial energy, primordial fire, and transformative power. There's a lot of transformation happening in all of these so far, is what comes to mind off the bat for this. This access asks us to ground, connect with the earth. I feel that working with earth energy, as opposed to, let's say, leaning more so into the cosmic energy, is going to be really good for you. Some of you might be drawn to, a shamanic experience or a journey or something that puts you, a vision quest of sorts, which puts you in touch with yourself and your purest, rawest form. Okay, we'll see how these play out together. Then we have the drum, another very grounding tool. We can look at this as just a tool. Move your feet, stomp your feet, clap your hands, move your body, put on some music that has some beats or whatever you do, use your actual drum. But just as a simple, surface level, the drum is very effective in getting us in touch with the earth, the beat, the core, the heartbeat of us. So these are just some pairings here. The heart comes in for me too, because when we're really connected and feeling supported to the earth, we use that for our heart's desire, for our personal fulfillment, because we are so supported and encouraged through that. So I guess I'm just seeing a lot of earthy energy so far, and a calling to get very much back in touch with that if you've drifted a little. Right, so then we have the clouds, shape-shifting, and I'm going to contradict myself here, because as much as I'm telling us about this strong connection to the earth, there is a connection here to the cosmos, you could say. Although, I do consider the clouds to be of the earth, like the water and the elements are of the earth. There is something cosmic, or a reminder, or a bridge, I want to say, in clouds. It's like these cool floating things that bring water and shade or whatever. They kind of do their thing too, right? So it's not just about the fire, it's not just about earth, it's also about water, but of the earthly / cosmic realms. Now, if this was like, to give you an example, the ocean, I would have a different feeling about it. But since it's clouds and it's light and it moves and it's refreshing, or it's interesting or relaxing to look at, there's a softness that is kind of paired in here. So we're going to see how these all play out, because this one's a little tricky for me right now. All right, so then we have the Chariot, which is, for me, about a certain type of triumph, I would say. In the picture, there's these two horses, a black one and a white one, and that to me pairs into duality and being able to master or drive duality to work for us instead of being very separated. So what this is kind of saying, now that we've got this card out, is an encouragement, or the energy that you're going to want to work with around this time is certainly very earthy. It's certainly a need for some deep-rooted transformation and fire and phoenix kind of energy, as in breaking everything down and diluting it, like, dissipating everything down to like the primal little cells and everything, and then it being reborn into a new shape for you. The clouds pairing in reminds us to just keep it a little light though, like, and not take it on as something that is so strict and so tough. There is a playfulness to clouds. There's a playfulness to seeing how they change and how they move and what they carry, and all different things, and how they look when the sun is setting and all of that. So it's reminding us to keep wonder and a playful attitude about it as well, and not get like all caught up and strict and crazy about it if you're leaning into that. And then the Chariot card coming in is a balancing of duality for you. And for me, to put that into words, what I mean by that is, clearly, we can look at the earth or the world, or, the zodiac, or the color chart, or a pie chart, or whatever, and consider that there are opposites on each side. It's round, but there are opposites. It's like yellow is the opposite of purple, right? Or Libra is the opposite of Aries. There's always an opposite. We live in a world of polarity, we'll call it. But when we combine both things, when we can say, hey, at the core, these things combined are still just colors, or these things combined, these different signs are still very much about, the self, and either how we work with people or how we are, alone or as individuals. So it's a thing to wrap your head around. I'm sorry this is so hard for me to put into words. To wrap your head around, or to try to meditate on or focus on, is where am I creating duality that is only creating a challenge for me, as in, I am good and this is bad, or I am weak and this is strong, or I am strong and this is weak, or anything that is separating you from understanding the truth, the true big picture, the fact that at the core we all, are all one, and we all do just want to be happy, or, be the best that we can, or whatever, our common ground here is. And it's encouraging that for you to find the common ground, and there will be a success, a new element that opens up for you when you work with identifying where you're attaching to, let's say, duality in your life, and how you can work with that to see that there is no bad necessarily. There's uncomfortable and comfortable, but there is no bad, there is no wrong, because even from the worst things, the best things can be born, and that's just how it is. So mastering that for you will be something that will play into your life in so many different ways. So that's kind of the encouragement here. All right. And connecting with yourself, like letting it boil down, or knowing that we're going to redo something here. I'm going to be reborn in a sense through this, but keep it light, keep it light. Move your body, go for a walk or a run, or get a drum, listen to a drum, listen to some like shamanic drumming music or something online, and just see how that plays in for you. Or go out dancing, whatever. All right, and then the last one, number 4, the group 4, is the obsidian, snowflake obsidian. I use this stone very much for physical issues. So let's say bone or back or joint kind of pain. I like to use this one a lot. I feel like it wants to be put on the shoulders or somewhere, just like comforting. It's very much, it's obsidian, so it's a glass like that, but it's softer than like regular obsidian or just black obsidian. And I want to say it's physical. Alright, so the goddess card is Selene. Alright, the goddess of the moon. Alright, then we have the Smoky Mirror. I've never got this card before. Excuse me. It has like a Buddha kind of sitting. Sorry that you can't see anything. And he's kind of, it's a statue, but there's a reflection in front of him of water. So, see that? And then we have Autumn Equinox or Release. And the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Okay. So Selene, what I know of her is that she is the moon goddess. Like, she is the moon goddess. She also is tied to the Chariot, so it's funny that she came right after we did the Chariot reading, because I associate her with the Chariot as well. In this depiction, she's pictured with a mortal. I forget his name, it's probably in here. A mortal that she fell in love with. Okay, here it is. When she descended to the earth to join, oh gosh, I'm not going to be able to pronounce it. I'm just going to call him Indy. He fell into a deep sleep from which he never awoke. Selene continued to visit him nightly. She is certainly represented by the full moon most of the time, or the peak power of the moon. So for me, this is reminding us that there is a, how do I say this without making it sound spooky? Some of you may be called to step down for someone else. Some of you might be called to come out of your power, so to speak, for someone else or for a situation, or to make something work or to make something fit. Some of you may be working on manifesting and you're afraid, you have a doubt in your mind that you're not accomplishing it, even though you're like doing your candle thing or your meditation, and you're like, oh, it's coming, totally doing that, yes, but the fact that you keep redoing something, like, oh, when is that gonna get here? Where is my partner? Where is my life partner? Where is my successful career? Where is my business? When is that gonna be here? When am I gonna hit the lottery? Like those kind of thoughts make us step down and step out of our power as well. So for me, this is just a reminder and validation of the full moon energy that we're going to be working with, and that it's a time for you to focus on yourself, and know that if you are going to kind of play the game where you're forcing something in a way to work, or you're stepping down for a person, it's still not going to work out how you picture it to. So on the other hand, instead of putting someone else into the picture while you manifest or while you work on something, just focus on you. Like, this is about you in this eclipse. It's not about other people necessarily, or working with other people. The Smoky Mirror is asking us to reflect, to clear the mirror, to reflect from a place first of general impression. So-and-so said that I don't listen, or so-and-so said that I hurt their feelings when I said this or that. They're crazy, or they're wrong. I wasn't doing that. But, knowing that there is a smoke and mirrors situation to reflecting on ourselves, because we know where our hearts were, but we don't know where we were acting, what we were perceived as. And, I don't think that we should always take in the fact that, we all have our own perceptions and try to make everybody happy. We can't, but sometimes it can be very powerful for us to temper what we're saying, or make sure that we explain it in 3 different ways so that people really know what we're trying to say, and it can't be taken as an insult or taken as a promise when it's not a promise, it's just encouragement or whatever. So this is kind of a thing to reflect and perhaps, I don't want to say, it's not accusing you, but is there a clog in the mirror? Is there something preventing you from truly looking and reflecting at yourself? Because if there is, then you're not going to reach your full potential, because we have to honestly look and be critical, critique ourselves on where we can make improvements. I'm looking at this video right now and I know I can make improvements on it. I'm not going to be in a bubble and think like, oh no, it's perfect. It's like, yeah, it might work, but I might do it better next time, kind of thing. So then we have release, or autumn equinox. And it's a picture of the leaves starting to turn colors, like they're going to fall. This reminds me of remembering to witness the beauty of letting things go. The beauty, and I know that's like a corny meme or something, but the beauty of the process of identifying what we no longer need, or where we're overextending, or where we're extending ourselves that doesn't serve us anymore, and letting those things go so that we can self-preserve in a sense, and also make room always for like what's to come, of course. And what we might have to do to pair these together is really look and be able to see, what do I need to release? What can I cut out in some capacity so that I have more time again to be the best person, to work on myself? Oh, you know what? So-and-so said that I gossip or whatever. So-and-so said that I'm nasty, or I'm cruel, or I have like a bad energy or something. But I don't think that that's true. Let me take a look. You know what? A few days ago when I hung out with so-and-so, I did act like that. I did join in with that gossip, or I did do whatever. And take like an honest reflection and say like, you know what? It's not that person that I was with who was gossiping with me is bad, but maybe we bring that out in each other. Maybe I need to release that conversation, or even maybe I need to release, even temporarily, that relationship or that time that I'm spending with that person, so that I can work on myself and build up a foundation that consists of not gossiping or not talking down on other people to make myself feel better, or just to bond with someone else, And then we have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So this for me is, how do I say this? There's a material element in here, obviously, and a mastery of sorts. It's like you almost have everything. You almost have every tool for what you're trying to do. But there's something that you're going to have to look at. And for me, for this, it is a sharpness. It is something within us that, whether we mean it to or not, might come off as cruel or insensitive. So for us to, or even through our actions, like stingy or ungrateful or anything like that. I'm not trying to call you guys out for anything like that, so please don't take it that way. But it's encouraging us to reflect on those times, or perhaps that the full moon energy might bring that out in us, a sharpness, a lack of gratitude, a lack of being able to express and like show someone love, or honor them, or I'm not finding the right word, but that might come up for you during this full moon and eclipse. So it's kind of like a suggestion on just remember that you're gonna, self-reflection is really gonna be your tool here for navigating that. We all, like I said, there's a lot of retrogrades going on. There's a lot of chances for miscommunication or misdirected feelings or things that we're processing. So this is an encouragement here to know that we're in that place and reflect. Don't dumb yourself down. Don't try to force anyone to do anything, and bring yourself into a place of being able to release what might be something in you that you can let go of, or a habit or a pattern or something that's going on, which is holding you back from becoming the person that you want to be, the person who has all the things you want to have, who lives the life that you want to live, etc. So we kind of have a little bit of conflict here that I just want to point out. The Selene card for me represents the power of the full moon, and being in that power and utilizing it for you, and not forcing someone's hand or forcing somebody to, I'm saying force, but I mean that lightly and in many different ways, but to persuade someone to do something. An example comes to mind. My brother is very introverted for the most part. I am too. I'm not calling him out at all. And my father's girlfriend is very extroverted, so she's very much trying to get him to come and visit. And even when he comes and visits, he's still not going to be extroverted when he gets there. He's still going to want to sit by himself for the most part, or come in and out, spend time with people and then go retreat for a little while. So it doesn't always work out how you wanted it to work out. So it's just instead of trying to force something, just know that, put that energy back to you, because you have full control over yourself. And then this one, there's a temperance here. It's be careful of how your actions might be careful of what you say might be perceived, because it's very hard to take back words. It's very hard to take back how we made someone feel. So use your words to explain, err on the side of over explaining, to make sure that you're coming across as authentic to what you're trying to get out there. All right. Well, I hope that this reading provided some kind of insight for you, or something, to listen to or whatever. I had to take a little break from Reiki videos. My next one will be a Reiki video, but I thought it was time to just do a reading, so I hope that you guys like it. Thank you so much to every one of you who watch, and that's beautiful. Thank you. But special thanks to my patrons, those who are supporting me on Tingles, those of you who make contributions. I don't mean to play favorites here. That's not what I'm doing, but you kind of went the extra mile, and I need to address you and tell you how grateful I am. If you're considering signing up on Patreon or anything, what I really love about Patreon, and I hope to grow it more in this capacity, but it's a beautiful place for me to have a community of, I don't want to say like-minded, necessarily, but people who we know are at least trying to do something for themselves, or appreciate, the vibes from this channel, and therefore they have that kind of going on in their life in some way. We're obviously not all the same, but I hope you know what I'm trying to say there. And I would love to see more of that. It's a nice place for, somebody to ask a question and I can answer it, because it's small, it's not comments that get lost and everything, although, they can get lost anywhere, I guess. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and just thank you so much. I'm so very grateful from the bottom of my heart, as always. Namaste.